Well, the album, Julie, is my first album as a leader, and it's with my trio, the Jelly Rolls, and it's called Sneaky Weasel. And as far as I know, it's the first New Zealand jazz album, or maybe even the first New Zealand album to come out on a USB credit card. Thinking about the album, I remember deciding that CDs are obsolete, if not becoming obsolete, they already are. I personally don't buy CDs anymore. Most people I know would purchase music online, digitally downloading, stuff like that, but at the same time it's good to have something to sell or give away at concerts and gigs. So then I thought, wow, what are the other options? And I remember reading something online about Bob Dylan releasing his whole catalogue as a USB harmonica. Sony put it out. So you get this little harmonica, and out flips the USB plug, and you get, for $150, you get all of Bob Dylan's music. The downside to that is it's $150 and the harmonica doesn't even work. It's just a toy. So I thought, no, I won't do that. And then just looking at different options USB wise, I decided on the card because it's got the space for the cover and that kind of thing. And then I can control whatever I put on it. Liner notes, videos, MP3s, waves, FLAC files, whatever. So on the album is high quality MP3s, and that's the Sneaky Weasel album, which is a 10-track album. And for the audio files, a wave version, so high quality wave files. 3 in-studio videos, which are actually the takes. So when we were recording, the engineer, Richard Kago, walked around the band with a camera, while he was supposed to be in the studio, of course. And also a digital booklet, which was designed by Tim Fraser of Creature Design. And that's like a 14-page digital PDF. So yeah, same thing, it's liner notes and it's content, but it's in a different format or a different medium. Originally, we recorded 5 of my compositions, and then a few months later we recorded, and that was a quartet, sorry, a few months later we did a different recording session and we recorded the trio, playing our Jelly Rolls repertoire from playing sort of weekly gigs for the last 2.5, 3 years, and they are all, they're the standards of the covers, all from the 30s, so people like Earl Hines and Duke Ellington and Fat Swaller and Cole Porter, all that kind of thing. And our style's kind of changed a little bit since then, but the original ones were, that was I think 5, and 4 of them made the cut in the end. One of them didn't quite make it. And then I decided, well, why not put the 2 together and have a mix on the album. So 18 months later, which is quite a long time, I think, I ended up with a mix of 6 standard covers and 4 originals. And I think we probably recorded, with the trio, we probably recorded about 15 tracks and whittled it down to 6. They're all one takes, they're all first takes, except for the originals, which are probably either first or second take. All of the trio stuff is first take, and that's what we're going for. We're going for a live sound, so hopefully it's not a sterile sound, you know. It's all recorded live together as a band, and whatever felt good is what made it to the album. It can't be a flippant space for solos. I think it has to relate to the song. So on the title track, Sneaky Weasel, the improvisation occurs over an ostinato, which is similar to the way the song's set up. So the bass clarinet and the bass play this repeated figure underneath the improvisation, which is the way the song, it sort of flows into the song. So it's not like here's the melody, here's just a bunch of improv and there's the melody. There's definitely, it has to connect. With the blues, there's a blues on there called Ben's Bounce, and that, with that in mind, it's a fairly open piece anyway, melodically and structurally, so the improvisation occurred in the same way, you know. So yeah, as long as there's a bit of thought as to how it relates to the song, I think that's quite important. There's a track called El Vigilante, which is obviously everybody knows what a vigilante is, and but my father was in a band in Christchurch in the 60s called the Vigilantes, and they made the Christchurch Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. So, and I remember looking at Dad's records and photos and things like that, and I thought, oh, what a cool name for a track. And it's got a clarinet on there, which is the first instrument that I learned. He's a saxophonist, and the tune just sort of lent itself to that name, so that's pretty much a song for Dad, you know. And Sneaky Weasel is named after one of my cats, who looks like a weasel. She's obviously quite sneaky. What else? Oh, and then there's one called Halley's Comet, which took its name after I attached a sample to the front of it. So I got there's some audio samples on there from different archives online, like old radio adverts and stuff like this. And as I was trawling through the archives collecting different samples to put on the album, I came across one for something to relieve indigestion, and it's called Haley's Elixir or something like that. And I thought, oh, this song sort of sounds, it's got a lot of up and go, so I call it Halley's Comet, which of course I remember as a kid watching Halley's Comet in the sky, and I thought, okay, that's kind of funny, you know. So a bit of tongue in cheek with that one. So this is the USB credit card, as some people call it. It's also called a wafer, and I've got the design on the front, which is basically replacing an album cover, and on the back, website label, an independent label, and a place to write on it if I need to. So it acts as an album and a business card. And what happens is you just works this time. Pop the USB port or plug, whatever you call it, out, and stick it into your computer.